A demon whose hair were replaced by snakes? A demon who was extremely hard to kill. A demon who was punished for a crime that she had never done. Yes, today we will talk about a demon from Greek mythology. How she became a demon from a beautiful girl. Medusa. Once, in an age when gods and giants still roamed the earth, there lived a woman of such staggering beauty that everybody who saw her was spellbound. Now, I cannot tell you with certainty whether the skin of her cheeks glowed like warm sunshine, or whether her eyes sparkled like midnight stars. What I do know is that men sailed across oceans to catch a glimpse of her. They fought over the right to sit by her side at dinner, and when she finally died, half of them claimed to have been lovers of hers. Her life was peaceful. She cared for the temple, prayed to Athena, and lived a life of devotion to her goddess. Then one day, Poseidon, the god of the sea, noticed her. Poseidon wasn't gentle or kind or subtle. He was powerful and wild, as deep as the oceans itself, and he set his sights on Medusa. He wanted her, all of her, and he would stop at nothing to have her. One stormy evening, when waves were crashing against the shores relentlessly, Poseidon showed himself to Medusa in Athena's hallowed temple. While winds shrieked outside, Poseidon trapped her, his eyes burning with lust. Medusa fought for Athena's protection, but the goddess didn't interfere. Forcing himself upon her, Poseidon defiled her in the very place that was a testament to Athena's chastity. When Athena finally arrived, it wasn't to comfort Medusa. No, the goddess was furious, not at Poseidon, who was far too powerful to be punished by a fellow deity, but at Medusa. Athena, in her cold divine anger, cursed Medusa for allowing such a desecration to occur in her sacred space. The once beautiful hair that Medusa was known for became a writhing nest of venomous snakes. Her captivating eyes, now glowing with a terrifying energy, turned anyone who looked at her into stone. In one cruel moment, Medusa was transformed from a beloved mortal to a creature of nightmares, cast out and forced to live in isolation on a remote island, far away from civilization. As she wandered the empty beaches of Sarpedon, Medusa's sadness turned to fury. She was not the naive girl she once was. Her heart grew colder and harder with each day as she gazed across the expanse of the sea and cursed the gods for their wickedness. Soon, tales of her monstrous form reached neighboring shores, and out of pity or fame-seeking, the odd unfortunate hero would venture to her isle in search of redemption or a way to end her tortured existence. They all met the same fate. One by one, they turned to stone the moment their gaze locked with Medusa's. It wasn't long before she realized what she was. She enjoyed it. The quiet priestess had become something more, something lethal and cunning. She began to set traps in her lair, her eyes growing ever brighter as she drew would-be murderers deeper into her temple. Hissing filled the night as the snakes slithered through the chambers, tasting each new arrival in the air. Statues piled up across the island, men frozen mid-stride or at battle stations, in an ever-increasing display of dread. But underneath the monster, Medusa longed for her old life. In the moments when she was all alone, she would reach up and touch her face, hoping to feel the smooth skin that had once been so loved. But instead of feeling flesh, her fingers always met cold, hard scales. And it seemed like the sound of her snarling snake hair whispered that she could never go back. Meanwhile, far away, the young hero Perseus heard her story. The king Polydectes, hoping to get rid of Perseus somehow, sent him on a mission he thought was impossible, to bring back Medusa's head. Perseus had absolutely no chance of doing that, but the gods decided to see what happened when they tried to help him. Athena gave him a mirrored shield for some reason, and Hermes gave him an even less likely present. Hermes gave him a pair of winged sandals. Hades finally loaned Perseus the cap of invisibility for his mission to kill one of their old pals. Perseus found the island of Sarpedon transformed into a wilderness of rock and silence. Medusa felt him there. "Ha! My hero has come. I'll give him a fight." She got up and prowled around the cavern. Her snakes hissed. "Fool," she said, "do you think a little sword can kill me? I have seen hundreds of heroes come to slay me. I have turned them all to stone. I shall do the same to you." Perseus said nothing. Instead, he stared at the reflection of Medusa in his shield and crept slowly forward. Medusa never moved, but she could feel Perseus coming nearer and nearer to her, and she could sense the snakes writhing and hissing with both fury and expectation. Then, in that same instant that the back of Perseus's hand swung down with its gleaming sword, Medusa's eyes glowed one last, terrible time. Perseus gingerly deposited her head in a bag made just for that purpose. As for Medusa, her story didn't end with her death. Her head stayed weapon enough, and Perseus used it like a club to beat his enemies into stone. But the legend of Medusa lived on, growing all the while. And so her story lived on, haunting the dreams of mortals and gods alike, as her snake-haired visage became a symbol of both terror and lost innocence.